is. It's quite vague, it's quite ambiguous for some individuals to brain. Others will refer to the mind as your mind being your inner mind, your chest, you know. So what is the mind really?
Now we know the body.
Yeah, we know
you
the
can
body.
see the different parts.
Mm-hmm.
Now when you say mind, and the basic concept for the layman especially, and most people, it's that part of us you can't see that allows us to be aware, feel, think, reason. And some people tell you that it exists in every living thing, including plants.
Are you serious?
Yes, that's mind. That's why you see some people carry out an experiment, 3 classes of plants. They're talking to one peacefully, encouragingly, with love and lovingly, and talk to another group with anger, hatred words, and then don't talk to the other one at all, and the third group. And you see how the differences in flourishing among these plants. What is at work? It is mind. The mind is everywhere, and some people tend to confuse that with the brain. The brain is simply the hardware that you use to use the mind.
Hold on. Hold on. So let's go to science. No, not science. Yeah, science or technology. Are you saying the mind is like the app? The brain is the hardware that, controls the app or aids for the functionality of the app. That's the application. We have applications on our mobile phones.
Yes.
For instance, I'm looking at one app now. It's called the WhatsApp.
If you use that analogy, the mind will be like the Wi-Fi. All over. That allows us access everything. We use it. And the brain is the hardware. The different aspects of what we are using of the mind will now be the apps. The different apps. So that kind of connection. Your mind and your body are not just somewhat connected, as you say, if I recall. They're very, very well connected, interconnected. So in modern times now, science teaching, medical teaching, now talk about the mind-body. You don't simply say the body, you say the mind-body. So you want to treat the body, you will not today neglect the mind of that person. So it's incorporated in the treatment or the management of whatever you're managing. So that's how closely connected they are. As a matter of fact, your mind is your body's best friend, and you could equally turn it into your body's worst enemy, depending on how you use it and how you relate both of them. So they're that connected. And your mind is not just restricted to your brain, your one part of your body. Notice, if somebody brings you good news now, you will jump out of that seat. All parts of you are part of the happiness. You understand? Because that's what the mind is like. Sometimes you could even, it goes beyond you. Quite often it goes beyond you. You go sleep, your mind is working. You understand? You meditate, your mind is, though at rest, it's still working with the universal mind. Then we'll talk about different aspects of mind as well.
Okay. It's getting more and more interesting. So let us go to the connectivity, as it were. How do we get the body and the mind to be connected with each other? You said something, even if you go to sleep, the mind is working.
Yes. This connection, this interconnectivity and connection has been right from before you were born. In fact, some teachers will tell you that it's your mind that has built you. It's your mind that has made your body. You do not know. You are doing it subconsciously. It's how you think, how you perceive, how you accept, how you apply what you think and what you know. It's all mind. Your body now grows accordingly. Yes, you will have genetic aspects, genes from your parents and all that, but how you function now, that's your mind at work. How do you receive the stimuli in your environment? So it's another way of putting it is some people say you have now a biopsychosocial relationship. That connection. You have the body, the mind cycle, and the social, your environment. And of course you can't ignore the environment in all this picture. So all is working intricately together. How do you respond to bad news? Your body will answer. How do you respond to an angry situation? One person gets something that will make him angry, they blow out. That's how you see, if you see in Caucasians, they get angry and red in the face. What you see out there is the result of the pouring out of these stressor hormones: adrenaline, cortisol, oxytocin. Their faces go red. Now you're seeing the face go red. Do you know what is happening internally? It's something probably worse happening inside. It takes its toll. You understand? So it's not only the vessels on the face, the veins and arteries that are reddening for you to see. They are reddening inside. Something is going on. Something is spoiling. So that is how the body is reacting to the news that you are giving to the mind. Of course, you can also go the other way. You get the good news. The body is happy. You shed tears of joy. Your spirits are lifted. So is that close? Very close indeed.
Interesting. Now you said the mind was there even before we were.
Nigeria Info. Right back after this.
The mind was there before we were born. Would it be at the point of conception, from when you know how you guys say it in medical, from when the spermatozoa comes in contact with the egg?
Very correct. Esoteric students will tell you, call it ensoulment.
Ensoulment.
Yes. The moment at which conception takes place, the person has arrived. And the mind begins to work. Yes, you have
tiny,
invisible.
Yeah.
To the naked eye.
To the naked eye,
you
yeah.
need a microscope to see. And even when you see, you're not going to see it isolated, dry out like that. It's just a portion of a blob of juice or jelly. So at that point, the mind is in there. It will respect the genetic messages, the genetic templates that you have got from father, mother, and all that. But the mind is at work with that template. You understand? That's how come you see, and people will come out healthy and strong. The mind is working. How are they reacting to the stimuli from around? Not like they are getting. How well are they used? So in situations like that, you have mind that is more positive thinking. Yeah, you have those people that always pessimistic, angry at everything. That thing saying, sana and corpore sano. That is a sound mind and a sound body. It's from Latin. And that tells you something. Look around you. You actually can't have somebody who is always fuming.
Okay, we need to go on a commercial break now. When we come back, we continue from that Latin word.
Take advantage.
It's a connectivity between the body and the mind, on Mind, Body, and Soul. Today, our guest is Dr. Abo KARIBO, a public health physician. Now, before we went on the break, he was talking about one Latin word. I'm sorry. I think he will have to repeat it and then tell us what it does mean as the conversation continues.
A Latin phrase that tells you that, literally translated, a healthy mind and a healthy body.
Okay.
You want to hear it in the Latin?
Yes, please.
Mens sana in corpore sano.
Mens sana in corpore sano. Wonderful.
So it's widely used among sports people.
Okay.
And of course, they tell you that educational people is to express the theory that physical exercise is a very important and essential part of psychological well-being.
Okay.
So you have these people that do exercise. So when we come to the area where you want to look at what you will do with your body to make sure, with your mind, to make sure your body is well. And of course, if the body is well, the mind is also better able to remain well. So it's like you set up a beneficial cycle. This good, it's a win-win situation. I'm good in health, I'm good in mind, I'm good in body. Each one keeps reverberating and reproducing again through the other. So you have something like that. So it is a win-win situation. That's what they call it.
Interesting. Now, I want to go back to how it's quite a mystery, if you ask me, how the mind is in existence even before a baby is born. So what forms or what makes up what goes into the mind? I don't know if I'm putting it correctly, because the baby is enclosed in an amniotic sac, right, in the mother's uterus, and has little or no exposure to anything external, as it were. So the baby will have to deal with a lot of organs, if there are maybe the placenta, maybe the what's this other one called now, the fluid in the amniotic sac and all of that. So what exactly, because I'm asking this, someone would say, oh, your baby hears, your baby, knows what is happening.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
That's correct. They do. Now this makes it necessary for us to remember that mind is not confined and cannot be confined. So you now talk about your conscious mind that you and I use individually, and you have a subconscious mind that is a larger part of our mind, which we have access to, but we have to do it deliberately. That part that also makes sure that as you finish eating, you give no other thought to what happens to what you have eaten.
Okay.
And how your heart beats and how you breathe. And then of course you have the universal mind, the unconscious mind, as some will say. So mind is not restrictable. That's why you see you put people in prison. They are there, their mind goes far and wide. They stay there and think of inventions.
Okay. Now, when you said people in prisons, minds go far and wide, I did see a series some years back. I can't quite remember the title of the series. I think someone who shared it with me. Okay, my colleague Efe shared it with me, and then I in turn shared it with another colleague, Kosi. Something about mind traveling. Is it mind traveling or soul traveling? Mind traveling, I don't know, but how someone's mind moves from one body to another body, and that other body begins to behave like the original owner of the mind. And there was this ongoing debate on whether or not that is even a possibility, or it's just fiction, as it were.
There are a lot of things you can do with the mind. Some other day we'll have more time to talk about the things you can do with your mind.
Okay.
When you go to sleep, each time you close your eyes to sleep long enough, you will dream. Yeah, you're wincing your eyes, and now that's what you find among a lot of our populace. They do not understand that you dream each time you sleep. So you hear things like, "Oh, I must be having malaria, I must be developing malaria. I dreamed so much last night." What happens usually is that we forget our dreams. We forget that we dream. We don't give it a thought. Now, assume that you remember your dreams. Your dreams you dreamt last night. Sometimes you go to as many as 8, up to a dozen different locations in your dreams. As you're waking up, it's as if you're walking back into your body, walking back into your tenement, into your house. You remember all those dreams if you can. Who is doing that? It's with your mind, right? You remember them. It's in your mind.
Some of them.
Yes. If you remember all, it's all there. It's all there, whether you remember or not. But when you remembered. When you remember, you can recall. You understand? So the mind cannot be tethered, cannot be imprisoned, and it's always working for you. Like I said, it's your body's best friend. You know how to use it. Some teachers will tell you that your program is mind, body, spirit, or soul.
Soul, yeah.
Fine. Some teachers will tell you that the mind and the soul, or spirit, some people interchange those words, are supposed to be perfectly aligned together. So you have your perfection of spirit, and your mind, as you come out, is in perfection, in alignment with it. The mind is now an interloper. It's coming in between two of them. It's how well you can use the mind, or how not well you can use the mind, that will now determine how much harmony you can forge between your mind, your body, and your spirit. And if you get that kind of correspondence, you hardly have issues.
Okay, now let's go to the big one. I'm sure this is the one that concerns everyone listening. And then, by the way, you can join the conversation watching us live on Twitter at Nigeria Info PH, and our Facebook page is Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. You can also call 070-0923 0923 070-0923 and then WhatsApp and Telegram number is 0809-030-6416. How can we use the interconnectivity that exists between the body and the mind for enhanced health as individuals?
Thank you very much. It's key that first of all you have an attitude of positivity. You're
an attitude of positivity.
Optimist.
Okay.
And in that state, your internal dialogue should be that positive. The cells in your body are intelligent beings, all of them conscious. So we have to talk about consciousness now. Your cells are conscious. Conscious to the extent that they take care of you when you have wounds that need to heal. They take care of you when you eat and drink. You give no thought to how you process it, what you have taken. With that consciousness, they still listen to you. So what you tell them, sometimes some people will verbalize it. But more importantly is your emotions as you're giving them that message. How are you feeling? You feel good? Notice you feel good, you tend to feel better. keep yourself healthy by exercise. We're now going to specific areas. Do meditation from time to time. If you're able to do that at a particular time of the day, each day, that will be fine. Your body relaxes, your muscles, and then you relax your mind. At such times, healing takes place. Unfortunately, it is so easy to mention, but it's not a very easy thing to carry out on a regular basis. That's one. For exercise, if you can take 3 days or 4 days out of 7, if you can do it 7 days, that's fine. Take 30 to 40 minutes and exercise yourself. Good, healthy exercise, not necessarily excessive exertion. If you could do some brisk walking, that's fine. Some cycling, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, helps the body. What are you eating? Good vegetables, fruits. Then some Ayurveda people will tell you, try as much as possible to get a balanced diet that will give you all the 6 possible tastes of food: sweet, sour, salt, bitter, astringent, and pungent. That's the way you arrange your food, your meals. You can get that. Where you don't, fill in with as many vegetables as you can, different colors. And then, of course, the sleep. How well are you sleeping? 7 to 9 hours regularly, usual rhythm. That will help you a lot. And then, of course, find time to laugh. Feel good. A good, hearty laughter every day will help this body. That's the mind is now taking care of all these aspects of it. How does it come in? You seek the knowledge, you know, you apply, and the body is responding. You see? So you have all these issues all working together. It's not just one thing. That whole enchilada, as you call it in Italy, and then you're on your way.
Okay, so let me bring this one in. If the mind is that important, this may be connected in such a way. When people, you know how they say health is not just, health doesn't just have to do with the body. When they say someone is healthy, the body, the mind, the soul, everything else, spiritually and otherwise. So when people slip into depression, is it a function of the mind or the body? Or when people that battle with some mental illnesses, the body or the mind?
Well, now you have the interconnectivity there. It's more something of a mind.
More of a mind.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you have to eventually learn to be friends with your mind if you're not yet, and sometimes it might take some learning to go through. Things happen. How stoic are you? Practice receiving, keep relationships alive. I didn't tell you about relationships. That's also part of it.
Okay.
What you do with your mind and body. And those relationships will help you to gain resilience against situations that are likely to keep you depressed for prolonged periods. So you may get into it, but you come out quick because of the relationships around you. People that will lift your spirits and so on, encourage you, help you along.
Okay. 07009230923 07009230923. WhatsApp and Telegram number 0809 030 6416 0809 030 6416. Nigerian first. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Sunside.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
My name is Gabriel.
Gabriel, welcome.
Yeah, I heard your guest talked about a baby, a fetus in in the womb
Yeah.
also having a mind. And for me, I'm in the school of thought that a fetus is not a person, is a potential person.
A potential person.
Yeah. So I believe mind, you have to grow the mind. As an individual grows up, see things in the world, that is how he grows his mind. And these faces in the mother's womb, they have no experience of the world. So how did they have that matured mind? So for me, I want to ask if that fetus in the mother's womb and the person, which is a grown-up man, a person, have the same capacity of mind. Do you understand my question?
If the fetus in the womb has the same capacity of mind as a grown-up adult, that's your question.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Because I believe the fetus is just a potential person.
Just a potential person. Okay, let's leave Dr. Albert to answer that.
What you need to understand is that the mind exists. I mentioned that the mind is already in the child. The fetus already has a mind. That's how come you see, even when you give birth to a set of twins, you see that they each have their own personality, different from one another. Siblings in a family all have different personalities. That's their minds. Now, what makes the difference between a child at that level, or a newborn, or a toddler, and an adult is the infusion of stimuli and experiences as they grow. But the mind exists. It is there. Is that clear?
Okay.
It's clear. So what makes the difference is, of course, somebody that's in class 6 will have got more experience than somebody that's in class 1. You understand? So the fact that the mind is there is what you should be aware of. The capacity now comes with time and stimulus.
Capacity comes with time and okay. So I've experienced this, or I've heard this several times. When you visit the hospitals, or some research I read years ago from a medical journal clearly stated that response to healing is also a function of the state of mind of the patient.
Very correct.
So some cancer patients are able to go through chemotherapy and eventually get well or stay longer than they were expected to stay, or live longer rather than we were expected to live, as opposed to some other patients with the same degree. You know, for some cancers, you say, oh, your stage, but this one, we give you like 3 months to live.
The person will live 5.
The person will live
5 years.
5 years more. And some others will go through chemotherapy, go through all the processes, spend so much money, and then they say, oh, the person lost the battle against cancer and all that. How does that really function? Because you know what is expected that the hospital should just give you the necessary medication and then it's supposed to work instantly.
Those are some of the things that highlighted the need to understand that you're not just dealing with a mechanical body. You're now dealing with a mind body or a body mind. You understand? So this person is taking similar drugs and so on. The other person, just like the next person, is doing well. This other person is not doing well. The circumstances around them are different. How much exercise is he taking? What is his outlook to life? How much support does he have, social and family? You understand? All these things coming. How is he using his body in response to this treatment and otherwise? Now, what explains when you have, this conjunctivitis problem they call Abo that comes from time to time? It will spread all over. Some people will get, some will not get. Some will fall to it, others will not. What makes it different? The mind is at work. There are those who will just tell you, I can't take it. Of course, you have to bring in also preventive measures that they will be taken, but the mind is also at work. What makes you more susceptible to something? Your optimism is there, how you're taking care of yourself is there, and so on. Of course, immunity is also there. All these differences, and of course, if you're happier and you laugh more and you eat better, your immunity is better placed than somebody who is always angry, fighting with everybody, always depressed, complaining about everything around him. It's different. So that now predisposes him to more quicker disease than somebody who is upbeat.
Now let's look at a coma situation. We've had people in coma for a very, very long time. At some point, the family members will say, you know what, pull the plugs. We can't do this anymore. Other times, the family members are patient. Because you sometimes see family members go visit and they are talking to, all you can see is probably the heart rate on the monitor and everything. And they're talking and say, wake up now. Please wake up. And you're asking the doctor, how far? This our brother. He's been in coma for this long. What's happening? Say, okay, let's just keep hope alive. Yeah, that's the word they use. Yes. Let's keep hope alive.
Yes, the person is alive. The mind is still there. What you don't see is those aspects of the mind that could make you see that he's ambulant, having motor functions that are not working. But he's there, he's seeing, he's perceiving, he's aware. He might also be reasoning. That's if you still have access to him. If it's deep coma, only his consciousness is there. You can't see, he doesn't see you. If he sees you, he's seeing you from his inner body, from his higher self. Because he's not there. It's just only the physical body is there, you see. That's assuming he's not yet dead. So you can't function with him.
Okay. Nigerian for good afternoon. Okay. Nigerian for good afternoon. Welcome to the sunny side. Good afternoon. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to find out actually what happens during dreams.
What happens during dreams?
Does everybody dream? Because I've seen someone who says he doesn't dream at all. Anytime he goes to sleep, he sleeps off completely. But anytime he has a dream, whatever he dreams of comes to pass. The doctor have already made some connection between the mind and the body and the soul during dreams. So can you just throw more light exactly what happens during dreams? What actually is it all about? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. This is important. I mentioned this already. Most people, it's quite common in our environment, most people believe that they do not dream. I specifically and categorically stated it that each time you go to sleep, you will dream. Without exception, each time without exception, you dream. But we in this part of the world, we are not, inclined to issues that have to do with the mind, dreams, consciousness, understanding these things, death, life. We want to keep them as strange as possible to us. Each time you go to sleep, you dream. Occasionally you remember. But I tell you something, even when you remember, if you don't focus on it and keep it in your mind, 1 hour or less later, you have forgotten that you dreamt, especially when you have to get up quick, begin to hustle for the day or for the week and so on. You have some project that you're undertaking. You don't pay any attention to your dreams. Now, these your dreams give you messages. Like your friend says, anything he dreams comes to true. He has received messages. He's forgotten all the other dreams. Sometimes it's healing. Sometimes it's teaching. Sometimes it's messages you are getting. Sometimes they are meaningless.
Yes,
But-
sometimes
yes.
they're actually
Yes.
meaningless.
Yes.
I've had a couple of dreams that when I wake up, I'm like, what is this? How do they connect in the first place?
But not all that is still mind at work.
And so the man is just doing jaga jaga, as we say in Nigeria.
I told you it has no limits. The mind goes beyond this planet to other planets, other galaxies. So maybe that's why sometimes you dream. It looks so strange. How should I be remembering that type of thing? Okay, just pass it off. It's not significant, you know. So that's the attitude. Some people start dreaming. They say, maybe I've got malaria. I don't dream too much these past 3 days.
How?
Each time you sleep, you dream.
Wait, are dreams connected to malaria symptoms or something?
Absolutely nothing to do with.
So,
You know how we do it here now in Nigeria. You know that malaria, typhoid, and typhoid malaria difference.
they dream bad dream
that
for
type
night.
of thing.
All right, let's see if we can squeeze in this call. Nigerian for good afternoon. Oh yeah, so sorry, we lost that call. They dream bad dream. No malaria they do you. Okay. There's there are people that say they have lived for a very, very long time without having to take any medication, and they owe it to the fact that they have a positive mindset, as it were. So they don't talk sickness, they don't see sickness, they've built themselves so much. Is that a possibility?
Yes, it is. There's there people who are like that. And it's not simply a positive mindset. It also has to do with positive action.
Positive action, okay.
Yes, I mentioned some of the things now. What are you
Exercise.
doing?
Great, okay.
You have a positive mindset, but you're doing things that are going to give you problems. You overdrink, you oversmoke, you know, you overeat, you don't do exercise, you don't sleep well, you bring down your immunity, you know. So meanwhile you have a positive outside mindset. You're doing the things that will cause you trouble. The trouble will come.
Interesting. Okay then. A final commercial break. I think after that we have roughly 2 or 3 more minutes. For some reason your WhatsApp messages are not dropping. I'm trying to find an alternative for that. But let's see if we can read at least a message or two when we return from the break. It's still Mind, Body and Soul on your number one station for talk, 90.3 Nigerian. For just stay tuned. says, good afternoon. The mind is the connector of the body and soul. It's just like a charger and a phone. The charger is the soul or spirit, the body is the phone, the electricity from the socket is the mind.
Correct.
Okay, so final words from you, Dr. Awa, as we round off. Time is already far gone.
Well, remember, your mind could be your body's best friend. It could also be its worst enemy. So learn to use it well. Eschew hatred, negative thoughts, envy, anger, despair, and so on. Be hopeful, be joyful as much as you can. Remember that happiness is a choice. Don't just wait for what's happening outside to make you happy or sad. If you choose to be happy, yeah, will still happen outside. Your choice is to be happy, so you will be. And when you're happy, you attract happy things to you.
All right, then that brings us to the end of the Sunny Side today. Do well to follow us on our social media handles at Nigeria Info PH on Twitter, Nigeria Info 90.3 PH on Facebook, and at Nigeria Info FM _PH on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at _Denise_Dennis. That's DENISE Follow my Facebook page, Denise Dennis. Follow my Facebook account, Denise Dennis Owalu. I'll be back here same time tomorrow for the Friday's edition of the Sunny Side. 3 o'clock presents Rivers Today, and thereafter Hat Facts with Dayo Elushakin. We are your number one station for Talk 90.3 Nigeria Info. So stay tuned.
It's all talk and more talk on Nigerians' number one.